Hello everyone, I'm just making a quick one real quick, because, yeah, last episode I did not give you much sauce, so I'm gonna give you some more. Today I'm just gonna show you some uses of things, like, for example, you can make furniture. There's, easy ways to make details, like, for example, heated materials. You can even do a couple variations of this. I will show that in a second here. And over here, yeah, there's a lot of ways to do interior work. I myself personally am not good at it. I'm just, I did some research. Yeah. And when it comes to roofs, you can use a number of blocks to make unique patterns. For example, the smithing table has a pretty unique and nice red color to the bottom. Bookshelves look like that. Beehives, looms, blast furnace, so on and so forth. Oh, did not mean to do that. This one is like a darker version of this, and this is that, and that's this. And this one can be both used as a floor and a roof. So basically, yeah. Technically a good chunk of these can be used as a floor as well. But yeah, pretty much just a quickie. And I'm going to teach you a few ways to do planning. When it comes to planning, there's a few ways to do this. There's the way I do it, which you can see there. I did not do from last time. I've not been doing it, which, I don't know. With all these other builds, I did not do it once. This time I will show you. Usually this sort of planning works with bigger builds more, right? So, for example, you will have this big box, and then you basically just take the box, put it over here, grab, I don't know, maybe a different kind of concrete, until you've got the basic shapes of a building, right? And you don't exactly need it to look identical to the way I'm doing it. I'm just showing you a real quick example. You can pretty much use this to plan out, hey, what shape will my build be taking, right? Like, for example, if I go like this, the way I did this here, there's about a number of ways I could do this. Maybe a stone bottom and a wooden top here, right? So you have I'll show you real quick. There we go. This is just an example. It's just to show you what you can do. But basically, you pretty much can plan out an entire build around a simple shape like this. Right? You see? Even there, yeah, pretty much. The entire idea around here is just, you can make anything from simple geometric shapes. This is one of many ways to plan a build, and it only works in like a handful of cases, like in creative mode. In other cases, it's just, it's pretty useful for when you're trying to make simple shapes into buildings, which, whoop-de-doo, that's pretty simple shaped. There is no door. I might add one. But I'm going to show you some examples where I used this to actually build some things, right? As you all know, I'm using it as a tactic to basically plan out this entire city to build, I'm using it here, where I have the simple shapes, and then I turn it into something, right? And of course, I can show you an example of what you do with the parts that end up not being, well, used. If you don't end up needing the walls that are no longer visible, and if there's concrete still there, you pretty much can get rid of it. Like, all these is like a guideline, right? It's like it holds your hand, pretty much, with getting the shape. That's all it does, it's all it's needed for. And this is an example of when I took that and both didn't use it as much, but did use it heavily. For example, when I was doing this build, there was a stage where it was a bunch of, well, squares and shapes and all that. It was lovely. But I didn't use it as like a full, I'm going to build against the wall, or I'm going to replace these blocks, pretty much, right? You can build out, add detail, and build basically around the entire concept, right? So basically, it's just like something that holds your hand. It's not meant to be finalized, right? So if I go inside here, you can see some examples, right? There was a simplistic shape. There was nothing in these corners. But later on, I added more to the corners, right? And as I go through this entire building, you will see evidence of me doing this tactic. Pretty much this entire build was at one point just a bunch of these shapes. So basically, take your geometric shapes and use it to plan everything. And I'll show you some other ways to do this. Also, I love the fact you can see an entirely different dimension through my skin. Welcome to the Builder universe. I don't know why my skin is a portal to a different dimension. We don't question it. Anyways, guys, this build, these builds specifically, these are examples of type 2. The second type of way you can do planning. Ignore that. That is my attempts to make a train. I know, pathetic. Anyways, gradients. Gotta love them. In any case, type 2 is what I did last episode. You saw how I did the planning with the wool? Where I did an outline. Usually, you do it a bit differently though, right? This is, well, for planning, you know, bigger builds. When you're planning something a bit smaller, you probably would like to do something along the lines of the wool tactic, which is used in tutorial videos as well to give you an idea of scale, you know? Because you can count your blocks, and obviously that is the middle. So, let me just quickly make sure that's green, so we don't lose it. Pretty much tutorials, I stay away from them usually, but they do one thing very efficiently, and it's use these lines, right? And also, check out the video in the link of the description, which is Green's video. Throughout these, I did not do, you know, I did not follow the rule of thumb, and sometimes I don't do it, you know, because sometimes you do need square buildings, which, yeah. But pretty much this 10-year-old video Green made of how not to build is very, very good. Please watch it. Green is a fantastic YouTuber. I have been told to take some inspiration from him. That's why I've started doing these tutorial videos. Also, I'm starting to realize I literally have started my own builder world, you know, where I build a bunch of things in it, you know. I've not done many of these. I've never actually tried doing it. But pretty much, yeah. This is literally a one-to-one how to get to this point, pretty much, you know? I have no idea what to title this video. But yeah, pretty much like, subscribe, comment, all that lovely stuff. I will add your name to the board. I have added 2 more people to the board, and I have no idea if I double added someone at some point. I think I have. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't have that many comments. It's just I look at all my older videos and then my newer videos. Not all my old videos, just the ones relatively connected to what I'm doing. And also, when it comes to these, mushroom one, you would have a bit of a... With mushroom roofs, you would have a bit of a pattern of how it connects. It would look something like a bunch of lines. It would look like this image at the bottom here, because it's a mushroom, pretty much. This one, you actually go a little over it, usually. Right? So you have a bit of a lip. You don't want it flush, unless you're making a rocket. But you get the point with those ones. You get the point with these ones. Pretty much, when it comes to these builds, it's pretty simple, it's pretty easy, and there's a few tactics. Like this one, you build based on the shape. This one, you build on the assumption of the area. Or you pretty much plan things like this, right? This would be a perfect thing for that roof, for example, right? Pretty much, this has all the benefits of this without the limitations of shape, right? Because you're following not a very strict, but a decently strict idea around shape. It's got few. Both of these have benefits. Both of these have downsides, and both of them take a while. Because this one, you already have the shape, so you don't need to worry about, oh god, how big does things have to be? So the only problem is the designing and the breaking and replacing blocks when they happen. And over here with this one, it's with the downsides to this one, it's sorry guys, I'm struggling now because I had to talk to my mother now. I'm gonna edit it out, but I now lost all track of thought. But pretty much this one's downsides is design mostly, and no need to worry about the shape, but you have to also worry about keeping the shape you want the build to have. This one, you have free range. You can, but you're gonna have to come up with a shape, and on top of that, you're gonna have to come up with how many rooms, how tall this would be. This one is kind of given. That's why this one I would use for like bigger builds. This one I use for smaller builds, because usually, yeah, it's just slightly easier. And when it comes to interiors, all I can say is, don't go overboard. Think about scale in a general sense, like, oh crap, will this room be big enough or will it be small enough? You know? You don't want your rooms you don't want your rooms to be too big, you don't want them to be too small. So if you have an example of very, very, very big rooms, like in that big build I showed you earlier, you separate the rooms into multiple rooms so that you have both more area to work with and less to worry about. And with roofing, pretty much it's similar. It's just depending on the block, you might want to, you know, hide the top and figure out a way to light it up. There's a few ways with these, like for example, offices, garages. I don't even know. Maybe a. Why is the bottom texture of a loom so bad? Well, hold up. Why is the loom just... Somebody was definitely lazy when making the bottom texture of this. Anyways, with this one, you can use it for, I don't know, normal rooms, fancy buildings, maybe a jungle shack, something with spruce. I'm not 100% sure. I'm not 100% sure. All I know is, yes, a lot of these things you can do a lot of things, and a lot of these things you could do. It's not a guide that is ultimate, it is a guide and some tips. I really recommend the green video from 10 years ago of how not to build. Sure, it's a little outdated. Like sometimes having your walls next to your pillars next to your walls is fine, but in some cases it removes from the depth. I hope this was helpful. Like, subscribe, all that lovely jazz. Share the video if you want. I'm not forcing you. And have fun, you builder goobers. And now, I send you to the dimension of builders. Whee!